Have you ever wanted a fog machine that's cordless and small and portable, easy to use? Well, I might have just the thing for you. My name is Matt Hernandez, and this is my review of the SmokeNINJA Pro. All right, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today, like I said, we're gonna be doing a review of the SmokeNINJA Pro. So my friends at PMI actually sent me the original SmokeNINJA back earlier in 2024. We have a video on that. If you wanna check that out, we'll link it below. But I was very impressed by it. It's really small, easy to use, really cool little device, handheld. I did have a couple of critiques, and clearly the guys at PMI listened to me, and other people too, because they made some changes and now they've come out with the SmokeNINJA Pro. And before we get started, I just want to say, full disclosure, they are sponsoring this video, so thank you very much, guys, for making that possible. But they aren't controlling what I say, so I'm going to be honest, just like I always am, so don't worry about that. I'm not going to be biased at all. This is going to be an honest review. So first, I'm going to pull out the original SmokeNINJA just so you can see. So the design is a little bit different now. You'll see when I pull out the new one. One of the critiques that I made on the original one was that I said that I would probably need multiple units to be able to use them on an actual shoot, maybe with a team or a larger scale shoot that's a little bit more serious than just a test shoot. So that's one of the things that's really cool, one of the new features on the new machines that I'll show you here in a second. This top is also a little bit different now. They have a new liquid stopper. I don't know if it's actually called a liquid stopper, but there's a new attachment that goes on the top there. And this one could run for 1 minute without shutting off. They don't overheat. They shut off before they get too hot, basically. That's one thing that PMI has spent 5 years in R&D developing these. And basically what happens when you use a fog machine is there's a coil on the inside and it heats up. And these other companies that produce knockoffs, they essentially don't make theirs the right way. They get too hot and then they start to boil the liquid, and that's when it becomes dangerous, right? That's when it becomes a fire hazard. There's lots of Amazon reviews of other companies that have just ripped these off and ripped the PMI unit off and not developed it the same way, where it doesn't have the safeguards that this has built into it. And they've exploded, they've melted, they've caught fire, all kinds of dangerous stuff. But these units will not do that. They were very adamant whenever I did my Zoom call with these guys, telling me they were very proud about how much research and development they have spent, how much time they have spent developing the patented system that is overheating protection for these. So you don't have to worry about that with these units. So I just want to make that very clear, because that's one of the main things. The other ones that are cheaper, they are much more dangerous. So keep that in mind. So these might be a little bit more expensive, but they're going to be worth it because they're much safer and they're going to be built better too. Okay, so let's put up the old one and get the new one. So it comes in this really fancy case, and I'm a former graphic designer, so I'm really a sucker for good packaging and good branding, and these guys really do it right. Okay, so I'll just show you here what it looks like when you open it up. Okay, so we'll get into the pricing and all that. This is the biggest kit you can buy. There are 3 different kits. You can buy the single unit, then you can buy accessories with it, and then you can buy all 3 units together. So, and that's really the biggest feature, and that's the biggest thing that I talked about in the original video with the original SmokeNINJA, was the fact that it was probably not enough to have just one. So now that you can buy 3 at once, and there's a definite bonus to doing that too. You get a couple extra things that are really cool. All right, so let's pull one of these out. Okay, so you can see the design is pretty much the same. The colors are reversed, but it looks pretty much the same. This is the liquid stopper that goes in the top, like I was talking about. Okay, so we're gonna go over everything again, even though we did the video on this before on the original one. So this basically has 3 different modes. There's fog, dry ice, and steam. And there's actually a new bubble option also, which we'll go over here in a little bit. Okay, so let's turn it on. So this button right here is the power button. You just press it 3 times and it turns on, all right? Okay, so once you turn it on, then, so if you want to use fog, for example, you press it once, twice, that's actually the 3rd time. So once, twice, and then there's 3. So it goes from no light to like a dim light and then a brighter light so that you know that you're at full power. Okay, so let's do fog first. So you get all these nozzles. So I'm gonna take out this top compartment here and show you guys real quick, because we've already got this stuff out. So once you open it up, so inside there's an accessory bag for each unit, and it has all the nozzles in there. And then there's a compartment for one cloud formula, and then there's a second one right there. This is a charging bank that we will take out and talk about in a few minutes. Here's our battery charger, right here. This is, oops. There's our remote. And then we're gonna talk about this in a minute too. That's a new feature. Okay. So let's put that back in there. Okay, so then in the top, we have 3 fans up here that are Bluetooth, and then the 3 compartments to put the liquid chambers in once you're gonna store it. And then that's the other cloud formula. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna set this down here for right now. Okay. All right, so let's just test all these out real quick, just so you guys can see them. So let's do fog first. We'll just put it on full power. So there's a button on the back, and that's what you press to turn it on. So there's fog. Okay, we're gonna do steam next. So I'm gonna take this off. That's quite a bit of fog for just holding it down for just a short amount of time there. Oop, upside down. Okay, all right, so here's steam. We're gonna do it at a power of 2. So it's not quite, so we don't get smoked out of here. So you can see, not quite as strong there. So that would be really good for like food photography, I would think. Or to just put like a consistent atmosphere, kind of like a haze machine in the background. All right, and then now let's try dry ice. Okay, so these little curved parts, they come apart, and so you put all these nozzles together. Okay, and then this is an attachment that is just for the dry ice. Let's go to 3. This is my favorite one. That's really neat. Pretty cool how it just kind of sits on the surface. And it is gonna go up and dissipate, but a lot of it almost looks like a spider web or something. It's really, really cool. So press the power button 3 more times to turn it off. So I'm gonna take this off for now, and then put this on the top. Okay, these are pretty clean. It's almost impossible not to get a little bit of liquid, you know, on your hands or maybe on the counter whenever you're using it. But so it's good. It's good to have, you know, towels and stuff around. But it's not that messy, especially if you're careful. Okay. All right. So the fog is going to be dense, lingering smoke, perfect for portraits and outdoors. This is how they describe it. Dry ice, liquid texture, performing perfect for creative product shots. And you can see that's the one that sits on the counter. Steam, fast dissipating fine smoke, diffused atmosphere for volumetric lighting. So that's like a haze machine basically in the back. And then the other one is the bubbles. So this doesn't actually come with the kit, it's separate, but you can buy this bubble formula. And so when you buy that separately, you get this little, so this actually has like a foam thing that we took out because we've used it. And you take the foam out and then you pour the bubbles here. So you pour the bubble formula in here, and this is the little tray, and you're gonna, there's a nozzle inside this. There's a little foam thing inside of it that houses the bubble nozzle, and you take out the bubble nozzle, and we'll grab that real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna take this off. We'll just show you this real quick too. All right, and then we'll put this on top. that little curved part of the nozzle, like the corner. And then, so they give you these cloths, these really nice microfiber cloths inside. Good to use to dry off if you get any of it, because some of it's going to get trapped in these nozzles, so it's almost impossible not to get a little bit on your hands, like I said. Okay. All right, so basically you're going to open this, you're going to pour it in here in this little tray, and then you're going to dip it. All right, so let's turn it back on, and I'm just going to set it to steam. I'm going to put it on the second one. All right, we got to re-dip it. The steam didn't come out soon enough there. Pretty cool, huh? Let's do one more. Okay, so they pop and the smoke comes out. So the smoke's filling up the bubbles. Pretty neat stuff. So it's even cooler when you use this fan that comes with it. So let's grab one of those out. I'll show you that real quick. Okay, so these Bluetooth fans that come with the kit. So basically what you can do is, let's take this off. And we're gonna put the fan right on there, and then so you're gonna put this like this. All right. Okay, now let's turn the steam up to the full power. Okay. So on the side here, you can see there's 3 different settings for the fan, 1, 2, and 3. So that's the power that you can put it on. All right, so let's turn it on. I'm gonna press the power button. So there's full power, and there's 1 and 2. Let's go to 1 and just see what it does. I guess I should actually probably put some liquid in there first, huh? Okay. There we go. That's pretty cool, huh? I can't wait to show you the shoot that we did with this specific one, because it turned out really cool. All right, let's turn this off for now. So that is a little short demonstration of what all the modes do. You know, like I said, whenever you use these on a shoot, like, it's a good idea to have some towels, just for when the bubbles hit the floor, they're gonna pop, obviously, and you're gonna get some of that liquid kind of floating around a little bit. So make sure it doesn't get too messy. Okay, we'll set this over here. Okay, all right, so the kit. So one thing that I said was I wasn't sure how powerful the one unit was going to be. So that's one of the cool things that comes with the kit is the Trident, all right? That's what this is called, which I love that name. It's really cool. So let's get all 3 units out here. Okay, so these run on an 18650 battery, so it's a rechargeable battery, all right? And then PMI has their own branded ones. I guess these are typical batteries for stuff like this. PMI has their own branded ones. You can replace these, but they are rechargeable. So you can recharge them in the unit with USB-C, or you can put them in this battery charger that comes with in the case. All right, so there's the battery. You can just pull it out right there and replace it if you have. It's a good idea to have spares whenever you have equipment like this, because if it's battery powered, you don't want to run out in the middle of the shoot, and if you're not going to be able to plug it up, which you can if you have these power banks, but if you don't, you want to have spare batteries just in case, just so that you don't have to quit using it, obviously. Okay, all right, so the way that this works is, before I show you how to hook it to the Trident, I am going to show you real quick, which I should have done this in the beginning. So you press this button and pull that off. So you can take the chamber out here. That's where the liquid goes, right? And then you can put it in those plastic chambers that come in the kit to store them right here. Okay, so slide that back on. All right, so you pull this down right here, And then, so this is, see, these are all labeled. This is A. So we're gonna grab the Trident here, and then, so it's gonna be the first one. So if you're holding it like this, it would be on the left. So this notch is right there. There we go. So you slide it on. I made that look way harder than it actually was. Let's put B on. It's probably significantly easier just to, you know, put them in order just so that you are aware, because that remote is going to have the different channels on there. Okay, all right. Now that we've got them all three assembled, now we're gonna get one of the fans, and so B's in the middle, so I'm gonna grab B and stick it on there. And then I think there's probably different ways you can do this. You could probably attach the long nozzle in the middle if you wanted to, like that, and make it longer, but we're gonna go shorter just because that's what we got in front of us. Then I've got one of the curves and then the jet nozzle. I've got two of them. So I'm basically just gonna angle A and C to the middle of the fan on B, all right? Okay, so I'm gonna turn the handle on now. So you can see on the back of the handle, you've got 1, 2, 3, and then off, right? So I'm gonna flip the button right there to on. And we're gonna make sure all of our units are on here. And let's put them all on fog on the lowest power. Okay. All right, so let's press 1 first. Oh, and I guess it would help if we turned our fan on. Okay, there we go. 2. So now you can see that 1 and 2 are both going, and then add 3, and then now, and that's on the lowest setting. You can see that's quite a bit of fog. Quite a bit. Okay. All right. So that's pretty cool. So you can just hand hold this. There's no cords involved or anything. You can set this on the ground. You can have somebody, like your assistant, walk back behind the subject and spray it and then walk out of the scene. I'm sure you could probably mount it on stuff if you wanted to. It's decently heavy. This is not super heavy with all three of them, but there's a magnet that comes in the accessory kit that you can, so you can put the unit, and the magnet is attached to the side on the same notches that go, same notches that go on the Trident. They go on the side right here, but that's not going to hold all three together, obviously. But I'm sure you could figure out a way with maybe a super clamp or something, I don't know, to mount this. But you know, the best part is that you can hand hold it and just walk around and do it, you know, or you can sit it on the ground. So, or you could, you know, put it on an Apple box or whatever you need to do. So that's awesome, because the power, so that actually, so we were at the lowest power on the fog on all three, and you saw how powerful that is. So when we did the test shoot in my studio, which you'll see here shortly, it filled up this place quick. And so the battery life, which we'll talk about that in a minute, I think is like, if you just shot it continuously, it'd be like 20 minutes, maybe 15 or 20 minutes. So we shot for about maybe an hour, and we did have to change the batteries once, or at the very end, and we didn't have it on the whole time. And it was, I mean, it looked like there was a fire in here. There was so much fog. So it's, you know, full power is going to be more than enough for most stuff. You know, you wouldn't think that a unit this little would be that powerful, but it's pretty impressive, honestly. It puts out a lot. So that's really cool. So that answers one of the questions about having more power. You definitely have quite a bit. Now, I'm sure there's like big fog machines that have more power than this, but for what I would need personally for my photo shoots with athletes, this is gonna be enough for sure. Here's the remote, the new remote. So the old remote only had one button. So this one has A, B, C, and D. So that's gonna control the 3 units separately, and then D is gonna turn them off, okay? And then you have an antenna you can pull out too. And I think it works up to like, the fan works, the Bluetooth fan works up to like 1,000 feet, I think. So the way that you pair these is, which this may unpair it first, but we're gonna go ahead and do it. So you long press the power button for 3 seconds, and then you, so long press that for 3 seconds until it turns purple, and then you long press this one for 3 seconds. And now they should be powered. So if we, or they should be paired, I'm sorry. So it's on, so if we, so that's B. So if I hit B with the remote, now it should power, it should turn it on, yep. See? And then when I want to turn it off, I just press D. So the only thing that I would say, everything that I've shown you is really cool. The only thing is I wish there was a little bit more control on the remote, like that you could change the power level or change from fog to steam or dry ice from here. But at the end of the day, that's not that big a deal. The setups that I did were all geared towards specific modes for the most part. And so it really wasn't that big a deal because you're going to change them all to match anyway. So, but one of the, so but that opens up a lot of possibilities, because now you can put all 3 of them in a different spot, and you can turn them on individually. So this is A. So we got A, and then we got C, and then we got B. All 3 doing different things, controlled separately by the remote. So that was the other thing that I said that was a drawback from the original unit, was the fact that you couldn't do any of that. Well, now you can. So our request has been answered. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, so let's talk about specifics on everything here. Okay, so like I said before, the major upgrades here are, it goes, the old SmokeNINJA did 1 minute. This one will do 3. It's got 100 hours of smoke output per chamber. The tank capacity is 15 minutes at max power. The total battery output at max power, so the battery's gonna last 20 minutes. They're fast, USB-C fast charging for 90 minutes for a full charge. And then they do have the batteries, so you can switch those out. The continuous burst times, the fog is 180 seconds, the dry ice is 30 seconds, and the steam is 180 seconds. The fog liquid is composed of vegetable glycerin and propylene, and there's 0 waiting and boiling time. It's safe for food, it's safe for the skin. Like I said, instantly swappable batteries and chambers, so you can switch out the chambers too if you need to. There's no downtime, and the batteries, like I said, are also replaceable. So the big accessory is the Trident, so you can hand hold it, all 3 at the same time. The remote, the precision fog tip, which is this, that's recommended for the, or I'm sorry. The precision fog is the long tip. The jet tip is for the steam. And then the liquid nozzle is for the dry ice. There's the magnetic mount and the 1/4 inch mount. So the new haze nozzle, which is the fan. So this is single burst up to 1,000 square feet. So it's pretty powerful. 3 fan spreads, and it can be mounted on the SmokeNINJA or the Smoke Genie, which is the more powerful. I think it was designed more for cinema, but same type thing. It's just a little bit bigger, more robust. But PMI makes that too. And then the new bubble formula, obviously and you can put the fan on different modes to get different size bubbles and different speed that they come off. So you can go really fast with small bubbles, you can go slower with bigger bubbles. Okay, so pricing. So the SmokeNINJA Pro by itself is gonna be $199, and it comes with the accessory kit, just like the old one that I showed you. And it comes with the liquid. So the second version would be the SmokeNINJA Pro plus the hazer kit. So you're gonna get 1 unit, 1 haze nozzle, and then all the accessories, which this is the haze nozzle. And then the Trident kit is gonna be $690. That's the one that I showed you in the big case here that has all 3 units, the 3-in-1 Trident handle, and the 3 haze nozzles. So the haze nozzle by itself is gonna cost $36. The 2-in-1 charger is gonna be $18. And that is this, we didn't talk about that actually. So this can be a power bank, so it's got USB-C and USB-A. And then basically it just holds 2 of the chargers that go inside the units. So you can keep this with you and swap them out if you need to, or you can plug in a cord and you can power your cell phone, or you could charge, or you could power the units with this also. Okay, so the haze nozzle is going to be $36 by itself. The charger is $18, and the bubble nozzle and formula is going to be $12. Right there. Okay. All right, so one other thing that I do want to address in the video, because I know I'm going to get asked this, because I get asked this on every fog machine or haze machine video that I've ever done, is what about fire alarms? Okay, so I've done a lot of shoots with these things. I have never, not these specifically, but also bigger haze machines and fog machines, I've never once set off the fire alarm. Now, I know that it does happen, obviously. And I talked to the PMI about it whenever we had our Zoom call about the SmokeNINJA Pro, and so they sent me a PDF on it. And basically what it boils down to is there are different types of fire alarms or smoke detectors. So some of them detect heat, and the SmokeNINJA Pro is never going to set off those. Okay, the sprinkler systems, and you need to find out what kind of smoke detector or fire alarm they have wherever you're shooting, so that you know, all right? Because if it's the kind that detects a heat signature, you're at no risk at all. Now, the other kind is it triggers ionization photoelectric smoke detectors, so that's what they're called. And so that's the kind that these will trigger, all right? And a lot of times those are linked directly to the fire department, so they'll get called, all right? So you need to know that ahead of time. Now, sometimes you can turn them off. Sometimes you can pull the battery out. You always want to make sure you replace it or turn it back on afterwards, obviously. And you want to talk to the people that own the venue when you do that. Or you can put a plastic bag over it too to block the sensors. Now you got to make sure you block it completely and make sure you take it off afterwards, obviously. But that's also something that people do from time to time as well. So make sure you know what kind of smoke detector they have in the venue, and then make sure you're not going to set it off. And if it's the sprinklers in it, you're not going to have to worry about it anyway. So, okay. All right, so that pretty much goes over all of the technical specs, capabilities, all of the features, all of the new features and upgrades with the SmokeNINJA Pro. So we did a couple of shoots with this to display what they could do and to test them out, and they both turned out pretty awesome. I don't know that I could be much happier. So the first one, we had a state champion, a newly crowned state champion high school football player. He plays on the defensive line for Paducah Tillman. So he came into the studio and we tested out the Trident, all 3 units at the same time, and we tested out the different channels, putting the units in different areas with him. So, and then we did a second shoot with a golfer where we utilized the bubble formula, and that one especially turned out way different than I thought. Not way different, I guess, but it did exceed my expectations for sure. So we are going to take you through some behind the scenes of those shoots now, so you can see what it was like to be there and see how the units perform. In the golf, on the golf shoot, I do go through my setup before I start shooting and I explain it. I didn't do that with the football player. I honestly just forgot. So we had a couple of different setups. We had an X-Drop Pro with a black Westcott background. We had a piece of turf that I just bought at Sam's with a rug stopper underneath it. If you ever do that, you want to make sure you get something to make sure the turf's not going to slide, because if they do any kind of fast movement, then you don't want them to slip, obviously. And then we had, so we had 2 4-foot Nanlite Pavo tubes that are RGB. So blue is the school color for that. So we put those behind him to start out. And then we had the Trident below him. And then we had an FJ400 behind the Trident. So we had the subject, then the Trident, then the FJ400. We just had a 7-inch reflector on there, and we had a blue gel on it, and it was aimed right at his back. And so that was going to backlight the fog. And so we used it on fog mode. And then we had the light bars on each side of him, and then his name is actually Xavier. So after we started the shoot, I thought it would be cool to tilt the tube lights and make an X. And so we did a couple of shots, or a couple of different poses like that too, since people call him X actually, so it was really neat. And then we changed the setup. We put 2 edge lights up high with deep focus reflectors and FJ400s, and we had grids on them. We had 30-degree grids. We had them angled down about 45 degrees. And then I set my white balance to, I think, like 2500 Kelvin maybe, so it was extremely blue. And I had an umbrella with an orange gel on it just to give a little bit. So basically what happens is when you set your white balance to that blue color, then everything's gonna look like that. And then when you introduce an orange gel, whatever that light hits, it's gonna make that normal temperature. So because it was an umbrella and it was turned down, it wasn't a dramatic difference, but it did introduce some skin color back into him. So then we turned off the umbrella later and changed the setup just a little bit, made it a little bit more dramatic. But that's enough of me talking. I'm gonna let you see some of the behind the scenes from the shoots. All right, so we're in the studio for the golf shots too, same place as the football pictures. We've got a little bit different setup though. We've got several lights here. We've got a beauty dish. They're all FJ400s. We've got a beauty dish on a boom. Manny Ortiz beauty dish is the main light. 2 1x4 strips with grids. There's no diffusion. And those have amber gels in them. And then we have a piece of turf hanging up from the background support in the back. So my thought was the amber would go well with the green. And then I had our golfer, wear red to match to be complementary to the turf. And then we have another light up high, way back there with a deep focus reflector and a grid, 30-degree grid that's angled down to kind of give, just so I don't light the background flat, I'm kind of like angling it a little bit so it gets some directional light. And then we've got our 3 Smoke Ninjas, 1 in the front and then 2 on each side. He's gonna stand a little bit in front of it and then hold the golf club different ways, maybe throw the golf ball up. But the thought here was the bubbles will make it look like golf balls. So we're gonna have them raining from the sky. So. And then the smoke might add a little bit of an interesting twist to it. So we're gonna see what we get. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. As you can see, both those shoots turned out honestly about as good as I could have hoped for. I am very impressed by this unit. I'm gonna definitely start using it more on like volume photography, team shoots, and then, with my normal, seniors and portrait shoots too. I take pictures of a lot of athletes, and fog is good no matter what kind of photography you do. It can be overused, obviously, but it definitely has its place, and especially with sports, it can look really cool. So I really can't recommend these enough. The guys are very passionate. The guys that make this PMI, they are very passionate about safety and about providing the best possible product they can. And I can just tell by talking to them how much it means to them to make sure everybody's safe with their product and it performs the way that we want it to. And I can say from what I've seen so far, it definitely does that. So one more thing about the shoots, those setups, as you can see from the video, weren't necessarily typical setups. They were somewhat normal, but they all three had a wrinkle in them that was a little bit different than something I would normally do, that would be, something that a normal average setup that you might see. So if you do want to see the settings and light power and specific diagrams with how all my lights were set up, we're going to put that on Instagram for our subscribers, and we'll also put it on Patreon. So make sure that you head over to either one of those and subscribe so you can check those out too. So also, if you did enjoy this video, then speaking of support, I would greatly appreciate a like and a subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell so you get notified whenever I post new content. That helps the channel keep going. All my Amazon links and Westcott links, that stuff helps too, because you know I don't get paid to do a whole lot of these videos, and anytime you guys can use those links, then I get a little bit of a commission. So you know that definitely helps keep this going, because I love doing it and I love helping you guys. So also make sure you go to Matthernandez.shop, sign up for the newsletter. We'll have all information on workshops, templates, videos, everything like that. So make sure you don't miss it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.